Hello friends, this is Don, and I am the Appalachian Rambler. Today we're going to be touring Sycamore Shoals State Historic Park in Elizabethton, Tennessee. As you can see by the sign, this park was established in 1976, the year this country was swept up with celebrating the bicentennial of this nation. This fort represents a time in our history where we fought against the British and we won our liberty. This is a replica of Fort Watauga, also known as Fort Caswell. On our right, we're coming up on some Tennessee Historical Commission plaques that have been placed here. This one says, in this valley, March 17, 1775, the Transylvania Company, led by Richard Henderson, John Williams, Thomas, and Nathaniel Hart, bought from the Cherokee, led by Chief Oka-Notosta, all lands between the Kentucky and Cumberland rivers. Over 20 million acres, sold for 2,000 pounds sterling and goods worth 8,000 pounds. I can't grasp how much land that is. I think it was at least half the state of Kentucky. Here, March 19, 1775, at the Sycamore Shoals, the Watauga Association, Charles Robertson, trustee, bought from the Cherokee with Oka-Notosta as chief lands along the Watauga, Holston, and Great Canaway, now New rivers. The consideration for the purchase was 2,000 pounds sterling. I have no idea how much 2,000 pounds sterling would be worth today, but I guarantee you it was a bargain even then. Fort Watauga. 400 yards northward and 1/2 mile northeast of the mouth of Gap Creek stood Fort Watauga Fort. Here, July 21st, 1776, the settlers under Captain James Robertson repulsed the Cherokees under Old Abraham off Chilhowie, and Lieutenant John Sevier rescued Bonnie Kate Sherrill, which is a point of trivia. Barney Kate Sherrill later became Mrs. John Sevier. The actual Fort Watauga sits 8/10 of a mile west of here. Archaeologists have dug into the site and they've determined that that was actually the site of Fort Watauga. Sycamore Shoals of Watauga. In this neighborhood on September 26, 1780, Reverend Samuel Doak conducted religious services for the frontiersmen of Virginia and North Carolina, including the Watauga and other settlements in what is now Tennessee, upon the start of their campaign, which resulted in the decisive victory off Kings Mountain on October 7th, 1780. Seems like so much of the history we're going to be covering here, so much of our early Tennessee history seems to culminate in the Battle of Kings Mountain. Thomas Jefferson deemed the Battle of Kings Mountain to be a very pivotal turning point in the Revolutionary War. Tipton family. The Tipton family was among the earliest and largest landowners in the Watauga settlement. The first Tiptons arrived by 1775. 4 years later, they owned nearly 3,000 acres in Carter County, with major landowners being Major Jonathan Tipton, Joseph Tipton, Colonel John Tipton, Samuel Tipton, Isaac Tipton, and Thomas Tipton. Samuel Tipton founded Elizabethton, Tennessee, where he and Thomas Tipton established an iron factory. Oh, that's a lot of Tiptons. It says the Tiptons played significant roles in the country's founding. Major Jonathan Tipton signed the Watauga Petition and fought in the Battle of Kings Mountain. Joseph Tipton was a delegate at the 1788 North Carolina Convention. Captain Jacob Tipton was killed at St. Clair's Defeat, where his brothers John, Jonathan, and William served in his company. Thomas Tipton was in the Carter County Militia. Okay, we'll take a little walk down here into the Sycamore Shoals Visitor Center. It's really a nice little center. They have a gift shop, but they also have a interpretive walkthrough museum where you can go through and see things depicting the early timeline of the Sycamore Shoals area. There goes some guy carrying a caution cone. Not sure what's up with that one, but we'll find out. Beautiful day here today. Absolutely beautiful. It's the last day of February, and I'll sure take it. Been unseasonably warm this winter after a extremely cold period we had at Christmas. This is a statue depicting one of the early settlers, the over the mountain men. I'm not really sure what he's aiming at, but he sure has been aiming at it for a long time out here. We'll go take a look. Dedicated to the spirit of the over the mountain men, heroes of the American Revolution. Project of the City of Elizabethton Bicentennial Commission, dedicated September 25th, 1999. Artist John Mark Estep. And this is part of the Over Mountain Victory National Historic Trail. I think you have the shadows right there and see a little bit better. Let's walk in and take a little look around the visitor center. It's dark brown here in these beams. This is definitely a vintage 1976. I'm shooting a video. Take a look at their gift shop. Here's your timeline of events in the early years leading up to Battle of our Liberty. Have a little gift souvenir area. Here's one of my favorite sections. Many books, many by local authors that cover the history of the frontier. Here's a section that covers Native Americans. If you come this way, it's worth it to drop in here and just take a look at their, if nothing else, take a look at their books. Let's go to this side. These are interpretive exhibits. This briefly explains the terrain, the history of many of the Indians in this area. Here's a early frontiersman hiding behind the tree. I believe these are rhododendrons. This is a reference to the area of Rome Mountain, which is about 25 miles from here. They have rhododendrons growing. An early flintlock rifle. Julius Duggar, considered to be arguably first settler of this area. Two millstones. These millstones have become quite collectible in recent years. This is to commemorate the grist mills built by Matthew Talbot and Baptist McNabb. Early tools of the frontiersman. Pottery shards. Surprising how well this corn's doing, grown in here. This is a great place to come and get a history of the early settlement, the Watauga Association. This is really a fabulous starting place for people that are unfamiliar with the Watauga settlements. What's this? Watauga Association tree. Says this section of Sycamore tree is a piece of the original tree in which the court of Watauga Association met during the early days of fledgling frontier government in 1772. Tree grew along the banks of the Doe River in the present-day downtown Elizabethton until it was taken down in the 1980s due to decay. The John Carter chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution preserved this section of tree and entrusted it to Sycamore Shoals in 1990. This gavel is one of several pieces of memorabilia that were made from the salvaged wood of the Watauga Association tree after its removal. I have another video that was filmed at the covered bridge in Elizabethton, which also has a very large section of tree, I almost call it a stump, that is preserved there under a small gazebo. You will see it in another video. Here's some information on the Carter Mansion, which is about 2 to 3 miles from here, located along the Watauga River. The Carters were one of the very earliest settlers here, and the Carter Mansion site and house is one of the oldest standing residences in the state of Tennessee. Frontier elegance on the Watauga. So a lot of information right here, a lot of reading on the Transylvania Purchase, the Watauga Purchase. I'm not sure who this is depicting. Maybe this is Chief Dragging Canoe. Don't know. Here's a story of the Bucket Brigade Ladies inside of Fort Watauga who poured scalding water on the approaching Indians that were trying to burn the fort, scale the walls. Cherokee War. Bonnie Kate. Story goes rather quickly that Bonnie Kate was caught outside of the fort as the Indians were attacking. She was out there milking a cow, and she ran to the walls of the fort, and John Sevier was able to pull her across the top of the fort and rescue her from the Indian attack. Surprisingly well-dressed early settler fighting off the Indians. Brass buckle. Okay. Here's Reverend Doak, who gave a very stirring prayer and message for the
British invasion. But now,
soldiers that were as they were leaving for Kings Mountain.
That dog Ferguson has threatened to march his army over the mountain.
This is Mary. This is Mary Patton, also known as Gunpowder Mary, one of the unsung early heroes on the frontier. We'll be talking a little bit more about her as we walk along on our tour. This commemorates the Battle of Kings Mountain.
I pray enough able-bodied men come here to the Shoals to fight for our patriot cause.
It's called
my wife, my children,
diorama. I don't know what a diorama is, but I'm learning. This diorama, I guess, is a model of actually Kings Mountain.
And protect them.
If you've never been to Kings Mountain, you need to go. Patriots Theater. There's a little short video you can go in there and watch. We're not going to go in right now, but there's a little short video you can watch. It's on the history of the early settlement here.
Many a brave lad will not return, and I can be one of those men.
This is a portrait of the
My life is the price for my children.
Battle at Kings Mountain. More rhododendrons. Okay, we're going to head on out, go down to the replica fort. It's a popular place for people to walk. I just like to come out here and walk. There's some lady with her dog. Poor old dog, he looks like he can barely make it. Poor dog's about like me, eating too much. I have to make a confession, this is my third attempt at producing a video about Sycamore Shoals State Park. I never can seem to get right. As I've alluded to in some other videos, I'm new to this. I'm really new to making videos on YouTube, and it's been a really steep learning curve, a very steep learning curve. Now we'll enter the replica Fort Watauga. At least we didn't have to scale the walls and get scalded. And let's see what we got over here. At first glance, it looks like it's the jail, but no. Depiction of early home. I have to wonder if these houses were really this nice on Frontier. Now I would really like to know, because I'm a in real life I'm a contractor, built a lot of things. Anybody can chime in here. I assume that they attempt to be pretty correct with this. Does anybody know why there's a log at the end of that eave? Is that some form of gutter? I have no idea what that is. And it's on more than a few of all these houses. What we got here? Let's see. Pump house. Rather modern looking. Galvanized pail. Another house. And they do during the summer when they have reenactments, they actually do some early frontier style cooking here. Looks like a pizza oven to me. I thought about building a pizza oven. That'd be really nice. This one looks about like something I would build. Looks like it's had some rough days. It's a cracked dome. Cooking area. That looks to me like a pipe that's stubbed up for natural gas, possibly. Early settlers had natural gas. Here we got a hole in the fence. That can't be very. That couldn't be very effective on the old Frontier. Looks like a bed frame back there. They had like ropes that went through it. I guess you laid your feather bed there. Good dirt floor. There's your flagpole in the center of the courtyard. Little hay right here. Some firewood. Looks like some type of easel. Oh, now this was a fancy house here. They've got wooden floors. And looks like that bed's made a little bit better. Ain't got that good. I don't know for sure what this is, but this elevated platform along this fence. Now that I get to thinking about it, I believe they probably do a reenactment here where women stand up on that walkway there and dump water over the scalding water on the Indians. Matter of fact, I'm about positive of that, since there are a lot of historic reenactments here. There's that log in the eave area again. Let's see. What's this? This is the public house. 4 pence a night for bed. 6 pence bed with potluck. Okay. 2 pence for laundry. No more than 5 to sleep in one bed. Okay. Jeez. No boots to be worn in bed. No razor grinders or tinkers taken in. That sounds like I don't know. It's gonna be a modern day druggie. No wind while at the table. Organ grinders to sleep in the wash house. No wind at the table. Well, I guess they didn't serve a lot of beans, even though beans was a staple of early frontier life. We'll step outside of the fort into this theater area. Every year during the month of July, June, on the weekend evenings, they have a live outdoor drama here called Liberty, Saga of Sycamore Shoals. And there will be a couple of dozen reenactors dressed in period costumes that will put on the play and tell the story of Fort Watauga and the early settlement. They reenacted in this area. So if you're this way in the month of June on a weekend evening, might be nice to drop by. It's a really good, entertaining show. Little mulch for the early settlers. This area is roped off here. As I said, it's been a really super wet spring we've had here. Of course, it's not been cold enough to have any snow. This is the first time, let me think. I believe we've not had any snow at all. We've had like a couple flakes go by, but we've not had any snow actually lay on the ground. Of course, I'm not, maybe I'm speaking too soon. I remember the biggest snow that we've ever had in this area was on March the 15th. I believe we had like 1.5 feet snow. In some places drifts were higher than that. So we're not out of the woods yet. For those of you that are not familiar with this area, we have been known to have snows up into April. Some type of lean-to shack right here. Looks like they've got a few holes in the roof. Looks about like something I'd have. Old woodshed. Walk down to the river. As you can see across the river, there are several campers. A lot of campsites have sprung up along the Watauga River in the recent years. Every year they have a reenactment here in October of the trip of the Over the Mountain men coming from Virginia, stopping here and going on to Kings Mountain, and they ford this river. It's usually there'll be a dozen or so men that will just come right across it, and it's just really nice to see. They're all dressed in period costumes. This is it's a beautiful river. Beautiful river. Down to the edge. Don't know how well you can hear it on this video, but you may be able to hear the shoals downstream about 300 foot. They're really loud, soothing. Water seems kind of peaceful today, but make no mistake, I'd say you get out in the middle of that thing and it's moving fast. This is quite a popular walking trail. See on the tree it says Sycamore Shoals State Park Trail. You'll take a look at a few of these plaques. Revolutionary War Patriots. This marker commemorates the men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in the noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to found a new nation. 1775, 1783. Okay. This plaque pretty much talks about what I was already spoken about, the men crossing the river, the reenactors. A lot of history right here we just really don't have time to go into. Nice nice benches right here for relaxing after walk on the old trail. Now I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about Mary Patton, Gunpowder Mary, as we saw a commemoration to her in the Visitor Center. Mary was actually Mary McKeon Patton. She came here from Pennsylvania in the late 1770s. Her husband's name was John Patton. He was a private in the Revolutionary War. But they left Pennsylvania because the British had outlawed making gunpowder in the colonies. Now Mary had come to America around late 1760s. She was born in England. She came here with her family. Her dad's name was David McKeon, and his trade was making gunpowder. Mary at an early age learned the art of making gunpowder from her father. In the early 1770s, she married John Patton, who was a immigrant from Scotland. No, excuse me, he was an immigrant from Ireland. they moved from Pennsylvania to this area and built a home and built a gunpowder making facility in an area that's now referred to as Powder Branch, which Powder Branch is located about 2 miles to the west of here. Mary was a very influential business lady. At a very early age, she successfully moved her business from Pennsylvania to here. I just got to thinking about her husband, John. He obviously had to leave the army, the colonial army, to come here. So was he somewhat a deserter? Now, I don't know about that, but that's a different side story. But anyhow, Mary's fame came from the fact that she provided the over the mountain men who mustered here at Sycamore Shoals. She provided them with over 500 pounds of gunpowder. That's a lot of gunpowder. Which gunpowder will be very, very important to the war effort. That's a lot of gunpowder. So she became famous for providing gunpowder. After the war, after the Revolutionary War, she continued to produce gunpowder in her factories. Even after Mary died in the 1830s, her sons and grandsons continued in the gunpowder making business right up until the time of the Civil War. So Mary is one of those a little bit under the radar women who contributed tremendously to the war effort. So when do you recognize Mary Patton's efforts? Well, over here in an adjacent area, somebody's practicing their tennis. Guess that's not something the early frontiersmen did, was play a lot of tennis. I'm gonna go up here and show you a little stone up here, and then we'll end this video. This stone is about the Sevier family, which was a very important family in the early settlement. Here we go. Valentine Sevier, the immigrant, 1712 to 1803. After the July 24, 1776 attack, the second fort was built on land owned by Sevier and joining the historic Shoals on the Watauga River. He and his family played a major role in the Watauga Association in the early settlement of Tennessee. He and his wife, Joanna Goad, were parents of General John Sevier, Colonel Valentine Sevier, Captain Robert Sevier, Mary Rutherford, Catherine Matlock, Abraham, and Joseph Sevier. Sevier Family Association, 1999. Well, friends, I'm going to wrap things up here today. I appreciate you joining me today for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I ask that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification button so you'll know when I post a new video. I'll see you down the road.